Hello and welcome to this video on global mergers and takeovers. So in this video we're going to look at the strategic reasons why a business might undertake a global merger or takeover. So let's start off with a quick recap of what we mean by mergers and takeovers and also how a business might expand globally. So a merger is when two or more businesses agree to become integrated to form one business under joint ownership. So this is where there is an agreement between the two companies, A and B, to form a larger new company, AB. For example, Iberia and British Airways merging to become the International Airlines Group. A takeover is when one business gains control of another and becomes the owner. So by buying, for example, 51% of the shares. It can sometimes be hostile, i.e. doesn't have management's approval. We can just buy the shares off the shareholders. An example would be Kraft took over Cadbury's, which was not that popular. The final way in which a business might expand merger takeover is also a concept of a joint venture. A joint venture is a business arrangement in which two or more parties agree to use their resources together to accomplish a specific project or task. For example, Sony and Ericsson partnering for the joint venture company Sony Ericsson. So when we look at global mergers and acquisitions, what we're talking about is cross-border. So one business merging or buying a business in another country. And if we look at the scale, there is quite a considerable amount of this going on. In 2007, if you added up the value of all the different mergers and takeovers that happened when one firm from one country bought another firm in another country, the value would be just over $3.5 trillion. We can see that a lot of that comes from America, quite a lot from Europe, Middle East and Africa, and then a slightly smaller amount here from Asia. More recently, in 2016, the number was a bit lower, $2.5 trillion in total. Again, the majority coming from America, but some from Europe, Middle East and Asia, and some from Europe, Middle East and Africa, and then some from Asia Pacific in the light blue. So we're talking about quite considerable sums of money and a strategy that many businesses pursue. So why would we do this? Why would a business pursue a global merger or a global takeover? Well, a number of different reasons. First of all, by doing this, it spreads the risk the business faces over different countries and regions. So for example, it will reduce the exposure to economic risk. If you buy another business in a far-flung country, that country's economy might be experiencing a boom while yours has a recession. So the two balance each other and you have a less risky business overall. Secondly, it allows you to enter that new market or importantly gain access to a trade bloc. So for example, many Japanese car manufacturers have production within the EU so that their products do not have to pay EU tariffs. Thirdly, we can buy a company that has a national or international brand name, or perhaps that company has a patent. So for example, BMW acquired the British brand Mini and then use that brand name to make new Minis and sell those cars across many countries around the world. Number 4, we can merge or buy another company in another market to secure valuable resources or supplies. So for example, BP has partnered with a Russian gas company, Rosneft, so a joint venture to secure drilling rights in the Arctic. Otherwise BP might not have access to the oil and gas supplies that they need. And finally, to maintain or increase global competitiveness. So for example, Walmart have acquired many supermarket chains around the world, for example in the UK a chain called Asda, and this allows them to benefit from economies of scale. So let's look at some examples. Here are some examples of some joint ventures. The first one here is Google and GlaxoSmithKline, the pharmaceutical company, and they have a joint venture to develop bioelectronic medicines. What is the reason for this? Well, it allows them to pool their resources, use their resources together and their expertise to investigate this opportunity and helps take some of the risk out of it because they can share costs and share resource. Another joint venture here is Jaguar Land Rover, partnering, making a joint venture in China. And this enables Jaguar Land Rover to make cars in China for the first time, overcoming protectionism, and also allows the Chinese company to learn a lot of the Jaguar production techniques. Now let's look at a couple of examples of global mergers and takeovers. This first one here is Comcast, the USA-based media company, taking over the UK company Sky. So the US media firm Comcast bought Sky, a UK firm, to broaden the range of shows it was able to offer, so to extend its product portfolio and to acquire a strong brand name. And a very large merger here was the beer giant AB InBev, merging with SAB Miller, and this created the largest beer company in the world, so the global market leader. They benefit from a significant economies of scale. Their market share three times the next largest competitor, and it also took the new firm into fast-growing African and new Latin American markets. So quite a considerable number of reasons why that merger made a lot of business sense. So in this video, we've looked at some of the strategic reasons why businesses might look to take on global mergers and takeovers, and looked at some examples. That's it. Thank you very much for listening.